Coming to you live from the JRE Tobacco Aladino Mobile Studios, it's the Cigar Pulpit.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another sermon from the Cigar Pulpit. I'm the Bishop of the Bird, Nick, and today we're flying high today. So today I have got an interview that I did with Jonas Santana of Blackbird Cigars, and we're going to get into a nice update about Blackbird Cigars. We're going to find out all about, how their 2024 went, what they're looking forward to in 2025, things of that nature. We get into some stuff that you may not hear from other manufacturers sometimes. Jonas got a little honest about a few things with me, and it was a fun conversation. It was a good conversation. So looking forward to presenting that for all of you. But in the meantime, I will be firing up a cigar. I will be firing up a Crow boxed press. This is a 6x52 box press Toro featuring a Mexican San Andreas wrapper, Dominican binder. It's a Dominican Habano binder, and fillers from Nicaragua and the United States, specifically Pennsylvania. And so we're going to get this guy going. For those of you who remember, I did smoke one of these on the show with Noah a little bit back when we had him on to talk about, the smoking panel that he belongs to with Blackbird and things of that nature. And you're going to hear a little bit more about the smoking panel later in this episode. But first, it's time to cut the cigar. And the official cutting is brought to you by 2guyscigars.com. That's the number 2, guyscigars.com. Two Guys have been around for 40 years, and they are the trusted name in the cigar industry. Everybody knows Two Guys, but if you don't, please give them a try. You won't be sorry. Family owned and operated, 2guyscigars.com does the very best to provide you a great selection, fair prices, and excellent customer service. I can't think of what else you could possibly want. The only piece of advice I'll give you all is when you go to 2guyscigars.com and you place that order with Two Guys and you get those cigars, coming to you, when they say that you have an option for your shipping, I'm just putting this out there. Again, this is not me demeaning any individual with the post office, rather the system itself. But I am still, as we sit here today, I am still waiting on the order that I placed for some Perdomo 30th Sungrown, the Parishioner Cigar of the Year. And they have yet to arrive. They sat in Des Moines, Iowa for quite some time. They did eventually make it to St. Louis, where they have been sitting for quite some time. I don't know when the hell I'm going to get them. So my only piece of advice to you, when you go to 2guyscigars.com, and you should go to 2guyscigars.com and place your order. And when you do remember that you can put in the little comment box. Remember to tell them that the Cigar Pulpit sent you. That way they know that, you came from me, and they give me credit. And I don't make anything, but it helps me when it comes time for ad renewal. But remember, maybe consider selecting UPS. I'm not saying UPS is like... Yes, I am actually. I'm saying that if you select UPS, you'll probably get your stuff, sooner than if you select USPS, because right now the post office is very high on my shit list. And again, I just want it for all of my postal worker friends, my postal worker parishioners that are listening to this. I don't blame the individual. You guys have been set up to fail with a system that has been run into the ground by Postmaster General after Postmaster General, and your current guy, well, he sucks. He sucks really, really bad, and I'm not a fan. And so I don't blame the individual. I blame the system. But with that being said, remember, go to 2guyscigars.com for your cigar purchase. Tell them that the Cigar Pulpit sent you. And remember, that's the number 2, guyscigars.com. And with that, it's time to go ahead and cut the cigar. Can you tell I'm a little fired up? I'm a little pissed off about this whole cigar thing. I mean, there's a very real possibility. Because here's the funny thing. Is I got tracking information for my Cigar Authority care package, which, that was ordered on January the 20th. I am curious. I'm wondering. I'm waiting to see if the Cigar Authority care package arrives before my box that contains only two Perdomo 30th anniversary Sungrowns. Because I'm not going to lie, if that happens, then the post office and I have a real issue at this point. Because, I mean, I placed that order quite a while ago. At this point, it's been a week and a half to get two cigars to me from New Hampshire here, when it normally does not take anywhere near that long. Why my cigars are going to Iowa, I don't know. Why they're sitting in St. Louis for multiple days, I don't know. Is this a matter of understaffing? Which, if that's the case, I mean, look, I mean, you guys offer decent benefits. I mean, come on. And if you don't, get on the ball and offer decent or better benefits, and maybe then you can attract people. I don't know. Whatever. I don't want to get into the post office weeds. So it's time to fire up the cigar. And while I fire up the cigar, it's the greatest commercial you've ever heard.
Some say cigars are all the same. It's just not true. It's you I have to blame.
Well, I don't know, 'cause what I know, there is a cigar called Aladino.
Corojo. Aladino Corojo. Aladino Corojo. They say authentic, so we're not confused, while the others say it's a word that's just abused.
I guess that's so, they can't compete. At least I'm sure Aladino can't be beat.
Corojo. Aladino Corojo. Aladino Corojo. Aladino Cigars uses authentic Corojo tobacco from JRE Tobacco. This is the greatest commercial you ever heard. Yeah.
For those of you on the YouTube, you saw me trying to seductively put my fingerless glove on my right hand because I didn't want it on while I was lighting the cigar, but now that the cigar's lit, I was trying to seductively just slip it onto my right hand and give you guys a show during the greatest commercial you've ever heard. Anyway, I have a cigar going. I have an interview to play. Let's go ahead and hear from Jonas Santana of Blackbird Cigars. And we are joined by Jonas Santana of Blackbird Cigars. How you doing, Jonas?
Everything good, Nick? Very good. Starting off the 2025 rested recharge. Ready
Good.
for 2025.
That's important. People don't give themselves enough time to just kind of, let the batteries recharge and kind of come to a nice mental headspace.
You need to recharge. You need to, there's some work that you do. I think in the cigar industry, just to be completely honest, there's some things that you cannot rush, no matter how much you want to work, no matter if you want to work 24 hours in a day for 7 days straight or for 1 month straight and you don't want to sleep. There's some things in the cigar business that it just takes time. You need the brand to mature. You need the people to learn and understand the brand. And that will happen with repetition. We'll give them a space, let them pick and choose. If they see your product 10 times, 20 times, and then they say, I'm curious about this red box. What's this about? You gotta, at the end of the day, you gotta do your work. And then it's like when people talk about faith, people think faith is, oh, God has something for me. It's not like that. In my case, what I tell you is I will work and then I will have faith that my work was worth it.
There you go.
It happened. That's the question.
And you've been working your ass off, man. I mean, so we were talking a little bit before we started recording. You did a lot of travel last year.
I know, man, and I don't know if I'm gonna do the same thing the same time this year, but everything depends if the retailers requested and they want to see me again because there's another spot. Like if you did that much how often they really want to see you again.
Yeah.
They feel they want to see you again, or maybe there's no need because sometimes they need you very often until that brand take off in that location. After that, they don't need you that much. They want to see you by anniversary parties, by new releases, things like that. But man, uh, I think it took a lot from me, but at the same time, after I did that, I was like, wow, I'm probably able to do whatever I want to accomplish in life. Because doing that is risky. You're putting your family behind. Like your family in that case, even if you say my family is number one because I'm doing this for them because I want to get money for them, it's not completely true.
Yeah.
You're probably doing it more for you than for your family. The thing is, the side effect of being successful, it will be paper money to help. That is a tool to provide and do things like that for your family. So it's complex for me, and every brain, every mind thinks differently and see life differently.
You got to have that work home life balance under control. It's like if any one thing is out of whack, it starts to fall apart. But you gotta really maintain that home work life balance.
Yeah, yeah, you got it. You got
So
it. Yeah, yeah.
so before we get into everything coming up with 25, and I definitely want to talk about the Crow box press.
Mhm.
Let's just kind of recap 2024. How was last year for Blackbird Cigars?
Well, we had an increase in the USA by 80% in sales.
I'd say that's pretty fantastic.
There's still room to get 50 to 60% every year. Uh, we coming from, let's say 2022 was not the best year for Blackbird because we had some hiccups and quality control problems. That's why my brother, my partner Vladimir, he said, I think it's the right time to build a new factory because there's a lot of room to grow and we all doing a fantastic job within our role. So we took that big risk. We did the new factory 2023. What I did was taking planes to check on every single account that might have any problem or issues with the cigars, to apologize and do a lot of things just to be a man of our word. At the end of the day, okay, I'm Jonas, I'm the face of the company, but I represent everybody that is working at the factory. That means Papo El Caballo, Master Blender, my brother and partner, Vladimir Santana. That means every single roller, the department, every department. I'm there, like I'm representing them. So I say, I took, let's say, the risk because sometimes being very honest is not the best. But if you have faith that doing that action might pay you off very well,
Hmm.
so I took the action of being honest and went every places and I used to feel very bad until I realized how many companies in the past had bigger problems than what I had, and right now they are top 10 or top 20 in the country. So it's something that I'm not the first, I'm not going to be the last, but the good thing is a solution. But you gotta be patient because you're not selling food to survive. You're selling a therapy that people choose, which is cigars. That's my therapy. That's my after work and everything. So
For sure.
2023, I went out just to apologize, do my work, do events and things like that. Even like that, I increased around 15% in sales just by doing that action.
Yeah.
2024, a lot of people that I visit and show my face, they brought Blackbird back.
Great.
They brought Blackbird back. Then you saw the rebuy, second rebuy, third rebuy, and I'm like, it's moving. And I told all of them, I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna prove you that I can put the brand back to the hype that it used to have, and even better. Because right now, it's like you learn from whatever mistake you had, and my only mistake was trying to sell more than what I was possible to really make.
I don't think you're definitely not alone in that. And I'm not naming any names of other brands, but I can tell you off the top of my head, I can think of other ones where it's like they just grow too big and too quick. And on one hand, you could say like, oh, that's great. The growth is wonderful. But if you can't maintain, if you can't handle that growth, it'll cripple you and it'll kill you before you even get going. And so I respect the fact that A, went around and apologized and handled it. Because I mean, look, it's not easy being honest about mistakes that you make sometimes. And I think that's part of the thing that people tend to gloss over it and move on and whatever. So I respect the fact that you went around and did that, but also I love the fact that you learned from it and you're pacing yourself now.
Yeah, but of course the solution is just the it was just having more tobacco, because the thing is we were in a factory that we didn't have any room to age our own tobacco, so everything was buy from another source ready to work. Otherwise we have an issue. So pandemic really hit me hard because we didn't have any room. So we were having young tobacco, probably young tobacco here and there, and my master blender was trying to do the best he can possibly do. So maybe, when you have a company, you want to keep going, you want to grow every year. I haven't heard, at least me, nobody telling me this year I don't want to grow. This year I want to maintain it. They just want to grow, grow, and
Yeah.
grow, and grow, and grow. Come on. Like, hey, why nobody tell me this year all I want to do is not grow the sales per cigar. Maybe I want to increase a little bit of the price, have a better quality, and the growth that we're gonna have is gonna be in numbers, but not in sticks sold.
Mm.
By thinking, hey, I'm here for the long run. The long run means the years go by, people is willing to pay the price, willing to pay the price, willing to. And why they're willing to pay the price? Because when they wanna use that therapy and they get the same reaction over and over again, they are able to suggest it to everybody. Then customers will are going to be willing to wait if something is in back order. I'm not going to say 3 months back order. Let's say 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I think 2 weeks, maximum 4 weeks is what I would like no more than that, but it's Mother Nature. But it comes again with the oversell when you oversell. So everybody just think about growing and growing and growing, and they don't think about how do I keep my, like the Padron. They have a certain amount of cigars sold every year. They prefer to quality, increase maybe the price, and that's it. And we're gonna keep the people happy.
Yeah.
So I believe in a balance. When you have a lot of room to grow still in the business, of course we can still think about growth and growth and growth and growth. But there's gonna be a time that probably I'm gonna talk with my crew and tell them we don't need to sell more sticks this year. All we need to do is to ensure quality every year to everybody, even if you just increase 10 cents
Yeah.
because of inflation. When you don't need to create any new product, you have all the cigars made for the year that is coming. You have quality right there. They work because if you want to have more growth in sales, but the growth in sales come with more physical work,
Mm-hmm.
then like you never stop. Like you need to rest. But if you say I don't need to grow more production, I'm gonna sell the same. People already know the brand. I'm not gonna put anything out right now. You can rest and get the growth, because growth is not only paper money. Because if you need to work too hard to get, put a number, $2 million,
Yeah.
but the other guy get 1 million and they can get to be at their house 4 days out of the week, I prefer 1 million.
There you go. Well, and to your point, it's all about what you're valuing and everything, and this is what we were talking about earlier with home life balance and or home work balance and everything. It's you can be successful, comfortable, provide for everybody in your organization, and have that home life as well, without just killing yourself. So I think that's great, and you're still making all of your clients happy. You're making your stores happy. You're making the smokers happy that enjoy your cigars. So everybody wins in that situation.
Everybody wins. Exactly. Because I gotta thank every single retailer that is willing to put the time to suggest Blackbird cigars. Because there's some cigars that they don't need to suggest.
Yeah.
But life is so weird, and I like about it that there's a lot of people that they would like to get the money and not suggest cigars, but there were other people that they feel bored about. Okay, yeah, it's another so and so brand that is gonna sell. Yeah, some people they get bored of being just waiting for the guy. They're gonna take the cigars that they know. Some people wanna feel that they are in action. Hey, I'm gonna suggest you this for this, and that because it's like artists. There's a millionaire artists that have never got a Grammy and they feel empty.
Yeah.
There's a satisfaction
Yeah.
that is not only paper money.
Well, and these retailers, they get excited about stuff too, and I mean a good one does anyway. They're getting excited about things coming in, and they want to, if they're excited about it, they're going to want to share it with others. They're going to want to tell
Exactly.
their customers, hey, we've got this new line in, or hey, have you tried the Crow box press? That sort of thing.
Exactly.
So speaking of which, the Crow box press,
Yeah.
how did that come about?
Well, I like Crow. It brings memory to me because when I started my own line before I even got my own company, the first blend was the Crow in 2016.
Okay.
It used to be a black band with red artwork. Back in the days, it was San Andres wrapper and everything. So Crow Express is my number one cigar that I have all the time. I got Superb last year. It did pretty well, and I haven't seen Stick by a Stick, but I think it has to be close to number one or number two this year. I gotta see what's the reaction because it's not new anymore, and I
Mm-hmm.
can see how the Crow is battling to get number one again.
Okay.
So thing is, it's not only putting completely new brand out. It's about just giving another performance with the number one cigar that I have, which is the Crow. Make a box press. Everything compressed a little bit more, but we did something differently, which is we fermented the tobacco again. We have a
Mm,
double fermentation in this cigar. So whoever whoever does not buy crow so much because for their palates, the pepper is maybe very intense. With the
okay.
double fermentation, the pepper mellow a little bit, so everything goes with more harmony and is more enjoyable for mild and medium body smokers as well. And the full body smoker is gonna get the essence and everything. They're gonna be able to appreciate because it still have body, but it's like it's smoothed it out the performance of the cigar when you have the double fermentation.
Okay. Well, that's what I was going to ask. Is the Crow's been around for a while as a round cigar, and kind of why you opted to go with the box pressed version, put out a box press version. Like what? I guess why did you decide that for the Crow and maybe not some of the others?
Well, let's just put it that way. Let's just put it every every single line that you have. I think it's never gonna all sell at the same time
For sure.
at the same quantity. You're gonna have the guys that will like the Jackdaw, the guys that will like the young kind here and there. But I think you always, no matter how many products Coca-Cola has, the Coca-Cola Classic is the one that sells the most. Let's be honest.
I get what you're saying. Okay.
So we wanted to show the the new boxes that we created, me, my brother, and Papa with the graphic designer, and we wanted to showcase in an addition of the line from our number one cigar, which is the Crow Express. So something that motivated me a lot is smokingpipes.com. When I show them the cigar, they say, wow, when do you releasing that? Like TPE 2023. And I'm like,
Yeah.
we're thinking September. And I'm like, we want to be the best. That's what they say. We want to be the first. That's what they say.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, you know what? If you want to be the first, this is the only thing I need from you. And I'm going to give you my word that you're going to be the first in the nation for at least 90 days. It turned out that it was 120 days.
Okay.
They support me a lot. So that motivated me even more to get it out. Because when the people smoke the cigar, they told me, wow, if I don't have the budget for Padron, this is the one that I'm going to smoke.
There you go.
That maybe some people say, so if they have the budget, they won't buy the Crow. I don't see it that way because there's something behind smoking a Padron. You feel status.
For sure.
It's not
Yeah.
only because of the flavor, it's status. People know the price.
The branding and everything else that goes along with it. Yeah.
People know the price, but by they telling me that, I already know that I'm in the right path because things that you want to do in the outside of penetrating the market is you want the people to compare you with some brands. It's not bad to compare you with some brands because at the end that's the market.
Yeah.
They compare you with a couple of with a couple of stuff, but the brand cannot be compared. I don't like to be the comparison. So many people tell me, "Oh, Camacho-ish or whatever," and I'm like, "All right, let's see the humidor and let's see how much or how many bands has ribbons and coins in a Spanish name. So who look like who?"
No, it's true. That's true. Um, no, that's a really good point. And the thing is, I think as humans, we naturally compare, you know. It's just one of those things. I mean, it's like how would LeBron do with Michael Jordan? How would, I mean, there's always comparisons that come
I
up.
like comparisons because
And
when people is comparing, they talking about you.
well, exactly. And to your point, it's not bad if you're being compared to, Padron. I mean, you're not being compared to. Well, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna name some ones that maybe wouldn't be good to be compared. But like, if you're gonna be compared to somebody, at least you're being compared to one that is known as like a really quality top brand. You're not being compared to one of the others.
In my case, in our case as a company, if you are getting compared with a company that was launched in 1957 or 59, I forget the right date, I should feel happy.
Yeah.
If they are getting compared with me on their end, they gotta see, oh, so the new kid in the block
Uh
is making it.
huh.
You know what I mean? It's
No, it's true.
different. The perspective depending where you at.
Yeah.
So
No,
getting that comparison for me, I'm happy.
that's great. That's great. So they had the I'm sorry, it was smoking pipes or
Smokingpipes.com, yeah.
smoking pipes. They had it for 120 days, and then from there, it now has become available to all of your accounts.
Yeah, to all the accounts. But first, we launched 500 boxes during 2024.
Okay.
Then this year, we're going to have 1,000 boxes. So we're going to increase the production by how much people embrace the Crow box press. Because let me tell you, in Europe, they don't like they don't like box pressed cigars.
I will freely admit, I prefer a round over a box press myself. It's a mouthfeel thing. I'll smoke a box press, but I understand that. Now, do you guys? I'm trying to think of your line. Is this the first box press you guys have done?
For our core line, yes.
That's what I thought.
For private labels or things done for Privada, no. We have
Well,
done
yeah,
box
yeah,
press
yeah.
for other people. We have done
But
box press.
but but in terms of like your core line, this is the first time you guys
The
have.
first Crow Express, I understand that some people like round cigars.
Yeah.
I think mouthfeel, if you get a bigger engage with the box press, is gonna be way more comfortable than a round cigar.
Okay.
It will depend by the choice, but at the end of the day, what you prefer a 20-ounce Coca-Cola or 2 liters? Depends. People would tell me many times I get more flavor from the 20-ounce. People will tell you
Okay.
that it is liquid. You can tell me that in a cigar. You have
Yeah.
less leaves to battle one against the other. You can tell me that. But in a liquid, if it's not, I'm not putting more sugar in because it's not battle. It's the
Yeah.
same. The only problem is if you're not gonna drink the whole 2 liter because you don't have family around, don't be stupid. Buy the 20 ounce for you, so you
Yeah.
can get all the soda, all the sprinkles, everything over there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if I'm gonna have a box press in that shape is giving you another performance, it's not only about what you like or what you don't like. It's I'm giving you another performance. I hope you like the performance, the flavors, and everything that I give to you within that shape. It's not just because it looks good. For me, it looks good, but I hope you like the performance of the cigar when you try that cigar.
No, I'm sure I will. So, now in terms of how it's been after the release, like you said, you did 500 boxes, you're doing 1,000 this year. Now that it's been opened up to your other accounts, how has the reception been?
Great. Some people have asked why is way more expensive than the other ones. I have explained them, and they understand. If you try the cigar, you will understand that I'm right. The double fermentation, the work put into it, it's a more expensive box. It gets more attention from the people, but also let me tell you, surprisingly, there's accounts that haven't opened the doors for me because for them I have cheap prices.
Okay. So, no, that's interesting you bring this up because I had a conversation with um, two different sales reps for different areas of the country, and they both have told me the same thing that it 100% depends on where you are in the country. That I'm obviously based in near St. Louis. I'm in the Midwest. We hear when you come at me and you're like, oh, this is a $20 cigar. I'm thinking, ooh, that's high price, and that sort of thing. But then I've talked to a guy that's working out on the East Coast, and he's like, if you come at them with something under $20, they're like, ooh, what's wrong with it? It's cheap, and that sort of thing. And so it's I find it fascinating to me that in various different regions of the country, the price point can
Mhm.
bring that quality, that like impression to it, be it either about quality or about status or whatever.
So at the end of the day, it needs to get mature. People need to get used to the new pricing of that cigar. But for those that they need, sometimes it's the overhead they have. If they have
Ah,
if they have an overhead, they prefer cigars on 14 and up than going down. Because if somebody's gonna go to your shop and you have a bar as well, and they only gonna buy one cigar, maybe two, but 4 drinks or 5 drinks, you already know that the drinking is giving you more money because you
yes.
drink faster than when you smoke. So based on the on how much they buy, how much is the quantity per person, they will prefer a cheaper or a higher as a price cigar and the overhead they have over there. So in the case of the Crow, whoever tell me, hey, I need those price of cigars, I have you the Crow Express. Some people, some consumers feel safe when they buy a cigar 14 bucks and up because they think they're going to get the quality they are expecting. It's like they're protecting their money or their investment in that product and they prefer higher price cigars.
Yeah, yeah. No, and that makes sense. I just I just find it fascinating because you know just for me personally, my sweet spot is between is and it's not easy to find the lower end of this scale, but it's between $7 and let's say $13. That kind of that's my personal sweet spot. Anything more than that, I need to I'm gonna think long and hard before I come at, because I tend to buy multiples. That's the other thing. So like let's say I walk into a humidor and I see the Crow box press sitting there for the first time, and I've heard about it and I haven't tried it and whatever. It's like I'm sitting there, and for me, if I'm gonna make the jump and I'm gonna try it, I'm buying two, because as you know, one, you can it's a handmade product, things can happen,
Yeah.
whatever. So I want to be able to experience it twice, and so um that's where I come from with the pricing. But realistically though, I mean, what does the box the Crow box press run.
It's
Like,
$14 per cigar before any tax.
dude, that's then okay. Then
It's
you're
not a
right.
big. It's not a big
No,
deal.
I was gonna say you're right in the you're right in the window. I mean, if you were telling me that oh, it's $20, I'd be like,
No, no.
whoa, wait a minute, yeah, 14. So $14. I mean, for you to say that that's one of your higher price cigars or the expensive one,
On the
that's
core line
that
because I have Cactus Ren. Cactus Ren will
yeah.
be around 16 or 17.
But even
But
that's not
that's a
bad. I
sure
mean,
that's a sure run.
but even that's not bad. I mean, I'm talking about some of these brands that come in and it's like, oh, this is a $30-$50 cigar. This is, I mean, my God, we had this run of 100 and, 300 and I think there's a Davidoff for like $750. I mean, it's like, no offense to any of those brands, but it's like, my God, like you got to really sell me as to how this is remotely worth that, because
Uh,
I can get a really good experience with, a $14 cigar or,
I
whatever.
for me, I'm explaining you the way I do it when I'm a consumer and I take out the hat of an owner of a brand.
Yeah.
So if I'm gonna be driving, I'm gonna be playing golf, which I don't do too often, but let's say I do it. I'm gonna ride my dog. I don't know how you say that. I forgot how you say that. You have a dog to walk it out.
Yeah.
You're gonna do any activity. You're gonna be doing something. I will buy a $6-7 cigar. If I'm gonna be doing something, if I'm gonna be driving for 30, 40 minutes, 2 hours, let's say, I'm gonna be
Yeah.
because I gotta go from Miami to Orlando, I gotta go from New York to New Jersey, I gotta do something, I will buy $6 cigar. So let's say if you are a truck driver, if you are a guy that works with your hands doing a lot of things and you want to smoke, go cheap.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a conversation in a shop, a long conversation. I will go the sweet spot price.
Okay.
Yeah, because the conversation is gonna make you relight the cigar.
Yeah.
So if you have a cheap cigar, you're not gonna have a pleasant stuff. If you're gonna have a celebration, you're gonna smoke a cigar by yourself because I sometimes I go in my balcony, Netflix, and I'm gonna enjoy my cigar. I'm not gonna be talking with anybody unless my wife comes to me and asks me for something. What do you want for dinner? That's it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be reading a book. Or I'm gonna take in a time for myself. I'm working in the computer. I'm doing things that is not gonna make me step up. How can I say? Talk and a lot of things. I will go price cigars because I'm gonna be able to enjoy the cigar. I will never go to the golf with a $20 cigar. Why? It's windy.
No, well, it's exactly it. Mother Nature's taking 50% of the flavor and everything away from you by blowing that smoke away, and you don't get that aroma.
Exactly. If I'm gonna
Yeah,
smoke a pricey cigar, I will never smoke it outdoors. Never.
yeah.
What you're
Uh,
gonna ruin the cigar. So think about it. Do you think it has a little logic the way I buy cigars?
no, that makes a lot of sense. The only difference that I would say that I have with you is you said that if you're sitting by yourself and maybe on the computer working or doing something, you might do something a little more on the expensive side. I would put that in the same category as driving, playing golf, being doing things that way. It's I'm doing something that's taking my mind away from the cigar in that regard, because I do that when I'm laying out my newspaper on my laptop. Is I'll have a cigar going while I'm doing my newspaper layout work, and what I find is I'll get busy doing the work on the computer, and the cigar will be sitting there in the ashtray, and next thing I know, it's gone out, and I got to relight it.
That's
And
your
so
situation. I
it
think
is. It is.
whatever doesn't make me relight the cigar,
Yeah.
talk, uh, I can go pricey cigar because I know I'm gonna enjoy that cigar. That's me. We have
Yeah.
different personalities,
For
different
sure.
type of work. Maybe you get way more focused than me in a computer. I'm
Yeah.
different. So it depends on that.
But to your point about sitting out and watching Netflix or just relaxing or whatever. Oh yeah, definitely. That's probably the majority of the time that I spend with cigars is just kind of by myself, maybe watching something on TV and just kind of relaxing with it. So
Remember,
yeah.
it's the therapy that we choose after work for whatever we want. So you want to treat yourself. You
For
want to
sure.
treat yourself. So depending on the situation, maybe the way I explained it is it fits differently on your end, but but by logic, I'm right. Like, hey, depending on the situation, you should use your money to buy the cigars. So I will have cheap cigars in my humidor, sweet spot cigars, and high end cigars.
There
Because
you
to
go.
be honest, if you have $25 cigar and you're gonna smoke three of those a day,
Yeah, that gets real expensive real quick.
so let's put it right now. Like if you can do 2,000 plus a month in cigars, maybe I'm in the wrong job.
That's for sure. You gotta keep that dollar cost average under control. Um, so you touched on the Superb earlier. That was also a big release for you guys in 2024. How and you said that was fighting at least for that top spot, you know?
Fighting, yeah, yeah. Superb was trying to get the number one. I gotta see the numbers. I think it did. But right now, Crow is now battling.
Yeah.
Superb, like I said, Superb is the bird of the paradise. So that cigar we created after we perfected every single blend when we moved to the new factory. We did 51 blends to create that cigar. So the new presentation with the story and with the quality of the cigar made that cigar a lot of sales. People
Okay.
gravitate to that cigar. Even the hype of that cigar, it lasts longer. According to the statistics, the hype of a new cigar is around 45 days.
Okay.
Unless you cannot find them and you trying and trying to get that cigar that maybe was sold out in 48 hours. So our hype of the Superb, it lasts pretty much until October. People
Okay.
trying to get the cigar here and there, and talking about it. So
Well,
presentation.
I
Mhm.
know that I mean, I told you at TPE last year when you and I sat for a little while and I smoked that for the first time that personally, my opinion, the Superb is my favorite thing that you guys have put out. It's lights out amazing. I smoked plenty of them last year, and actually, a couple episodes back, I did my personal unranked top 10 cigars of 2024. I don't rank them because I don't, it's this is what I liked. It's not a matter of like I liked this one more than this one, that kind of thing. But yeah, the Superb made my 10 cigars that I really enjoyed in 2024.
Man,
So it
I'm
was
glad.
a fantastic smoke, and so I'm glad to hear that it's doing well. um so looking ahead now, we are in 2025. What does 2025 look like for Blackbird Cigars?
I think it's gonna be a great year for us. I I can tell you some stuff that we're gonna get out that I'm sure it's gonna get out. The ones that I'm not gonna mention is because we still need to understand what's the date.
For
But
sure.
you can expect the Superb Lancero for those connoisseurs
Oh,
and people that like those ring gauges. You're gonna expect the Superb Box Press. There's gonna be another short run. The plan is every quarter, more or less, there's gonna be a short run. So after this year, we're not gonna put any new short run like that unless we need to give some a short run a little rest for and then bring it back in 2 years. So for example, Cactus Rain is gonna come in June again. We're gonna have a limited edition inspired by the Crow Box Press as well. I'm not gonna say the name. By we're gonna launch it last week of September.
okay.
We're gonna do a classic line. So we are a modern company, as you know, but we are so modern that we don't mind to navigate also in the classic line, because depends on there's some shops that the consumers buy what the owner says. So if the owner is a classic guy, hey, Blackbird, we can also do that.
Okay.
We can suit wherever we are. It's like I always say, like with Blackbird, everybody's welcome. You are a suit guy, you are a guy, you are a trucker, you are doesn't matter your profession. But people gravitate to products depending on the looks. So a lot of people have gravitate to the colors of Blackbird because it pops right away and it's
It,
interesting for them.
It really does. I will say, you guys stand out in a humidor very, very clearly with those bright colors.
Exactly. So in the guys that try to chase Cuban cigars, the older generation, they gravitate to classic lines, to things that for them is more, how can I say, traditions and things like that. So we don't mind to also have another option for the people. We got to see how that will work. Um, outside of that, I expect something great this year because even the crew is growing. Um, the more work that we have to do, the more delegate we have to delegate for more people.
For sure.
So I'm expecting another growth from this company this year, at least by 50%.
Wow. Well, that's great. That's great to hear. Um, Now, one area that I did want to ask about real quick, and it just kind of came to mind, and whatnot, is overseas growth has been very big for a lot of brands.
Mhm.
How has like Europe and various other areas been for Blackbird?
The growth in Europe is a slow growth, no matter whoever tells you whatever, every
Yeah.
situation, because to you cannot do events in Europe like you do it. You can do certain
Yeah.
parts. The track and trace is an issue. The blind packaging, for example, if you're Canada, that's different. The Netherlands wants to go blind packaging. So depending on the area, if you have an ambassador in Europe, I'm pretty sure the growth it can be even better. You know, in the case of Fuente, Jose Blanco is the ambassador, so they need the help because it's a different behavior. Even the way you do business over there is different. When you go to Intertabac, there's some distributors that it would take them to see you 3 years straight before they really pull the trigger.
Mm.
So we are growing over there. We are in around 9 to 10 countries over there, uh, and it's slowly growing, but every year beats last year's number.
Okay.
But it's a slower process. It's a but uh, don't get fooled about, hey, yeah, we're growing crazy. For example, if you in Spain sells 50,000 cigars, is a great number.
Yeah.
But in USA, 50,000 cigars is not a great number.
No, that's true. The
You know
USA
what
is
I mean?
we are the big dog in terms of the world
And in
consumption.
case of percentage, let's say if I sold 20,000 cigars in Spain, just to put a number, and 1 year I do 50,000, that would be a growth of how much in percentage? If I don't tell you, that would be what, 150% probably.
Okay.
Yeah. I if I say
Math
if I
math
don't
is not my strong suit, Jonas.
Yeah. So no problem. So
Yeah.
20,000, let's see, times 2.5 is
Yeah.
50,000. If I tell you, hey, in Spain I grow 150%, but I didn't tell you the number in sticks, you will say, wow.
Yeah, it would sound really impressive. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But it's like if I sold one cigar and the next year I sell two cigars and I tell you I grow
It's an
100%.
amazing growth. Exactly. Yeah. Well,
So,
fair enough.
I don't know if you know me very well, but I'm an honest guy, straight. Let's not get fooled.
Well,
Um,
you can definitely make numbers say what you want them to say. That's true. No, interesting. Interesting. Oh, very good. No, I was just curious. Like I said, that seems to be kind of the hot topic amongst a lot of folks is the overseas growth and whatnot, and it does feel like a lot of brands really put a lot of eggs in that basket last year. Um, yeah.
I think you gotta go step by step. I've been going to Inter Tobacco for 3 years straight already, and the first year I did well. I think I did well. I got four countries in the first 2 days of Inter Tobacco. For
Mm,
me, it was great. The second year, I got four more countries. The third year, I think I had one or two more countries, but the other ones were buying already constantly. So the growth, there's a point that you get depending on the stage of the company and depending on the region that you are, that sometimes 10% growth is a great growth. It's, for example, in percentage, how much the growth do you think is excellent for Davidoff or for Fuente?
Yeah.
15, 20% for them is like, wow. It's like I do 200% for them is 10 to 15% because like, like that's why I always say the phenomenal way, if there is a longer route and you cannot stop working the guys that are already working with you, I always say bringing new consumers is what's really helps the industry because we are battling against the same guys. So every time you put a new cigar out, that doesn't mean the consumer is going to buy more cigars. They're just going to take out one of their rotation and put
Exactly.
yours. That's just what it is. Let's not get crazy about it or be stupid about it. And excuse my language, but
No.
it's not gonna make them because you're putting another cigar out. The salary of that consumer oh hey, now I put you one more $1,000 this month because there's a new cigar out that I need you to buy it for yourself. It doesn't work like that.
No, I get that completely. So with my newspaper, I have my advertisers, and I have some that are just really good. Every week they're always there advertisers, right? And I've had sales reps in the past where when they've gone out and they've tried to bring in new people, they haven't had as good of luck. And so part of the way that they, sell ads is they go and hit up those regular every week consistent long-term advertisers that I've got. And I always have to tell those guys, it's like, look, we don't want to bleed more out of the people we've got because there's a finite amount of money we're going to get out of them and everything. You're doing is taking the pie that we have and you're cutting it into smaller slices. I said you need to go out and bake a brand new pie. And by that meaning, you got to bring in new people. You got to do what you got to do to bring in new people and make it all gets bigger and better at that point. So no, I
Yeah.
get what you're saying with
So
it.
in the case of Crowbox Press, what you're hoping is like whoever you have a consumer. Let's just put any random. Let's say Nick has 10 cigars that he smokes every month.
Yeah,
Let's say you smoke the Crow. Let's say you smoke the Superb, and then 8 other brands. What you're hoping when you create a new cigar, in the case of Crowbox Press, is whatever you have in that rotation from another brand that is Maduro Box Press. What you're hoping is Nick chooses now the Crowbox Press over the other brand, and you take that out of the rotation.
yeah,
That's what you're hoping. It's about space. You have real space, but you also have a space in the brain of each consumer. You just want to be part of that agenda that
yeah.
consumer has. You know what I mean?
Well, no, for sure, because those the smokers that are super brand loyal, to where they only smoke like this brand and they don't go off and I can think of at least three different brands off the top of my head that exactly who I'm talking about. The guys that they only smoke that one
Yeah,
brand and they'll never
yeah.
consider any other. If you can get but those guys are not. I feel like the majority. I feel like there's a lot of people like me, that they'll smoke around and try different stuff. And to your point, yeah, you got to just get in the rotation,
And then in the rotation, yeah.
get in the
I
rotation.
don't only smoke my brand. I smoke many brands. Not many. There's like 6 brands that I smoke.
Yeah.
Uh, because I have to before you do any marketing strategy, sales strategy, whatever. You depending on the industry you are, you also have to be in the feet of them. Like you gotta be in their shoes. What will be what they do? So in my case is I would love in my imagination that you only smoke Blackbird. But myself, when I only smoke one of my lines the entire month, I get bored and I go to another of my line and probably I go back to that cigar that I smoked for a whole month in 5 months. So I don't want you to get tired of me.
Yeah.
So I need you to pick other cigars. I want you to have bad cigars when you picking them so you can come back.
There you
I
go.
want you to have great cigars so you can compare. So it's like you have a superb Habano, and you probably having your rotation on an Habano for so and so company, and maybe you say, but this Habano, I like it better than this Habano. You know what? I'm gonna put this in my rotation now. It's
There
logic.
you go.
It's like don't don't ever put out a new line, a new brand, or whatever without really thinking, what's the point?
Yeah. No, that's really good point. So, well, dude, I'm so happy that 2024 and now the beginning part of 25 has gone well for you. The Superb it's a wonderful cigar. The Crow box press, I'm glad that's going great for you. I'm looking forward to firing this guy up when it thaws out around here a little bit. But no, I'm so happy that we were able to take some time to connect. Where can people find out more information about Blackbird Cigars?
BlackbirdCigar.com and the Instagram. We always put in new things over there. I want to tell the people if they want to get more from us to join the smoking panel. Are you in there?
I am not. However, one of my listeners, Noah, is, and he and I actually we did an episode a little bit back with the Crow box press, and because he had it, for the
He had
smoking
it.
panel, and so we talked a little bit about the smoking panel and all that. So no, so yeah, talk about the smoking panel. How can people get in on that?
So the thing is, what I do, like you gotta understand really where you invest, the marketing or things like that, depending on the stage of the company. So a smoking panel is something that every factory must have, and we do have it at the factory. But I always say, outside of that, the smoking panel is not in the factory. It's not the one buying the cigars in the USA. So I say the guys that we really need to convince are the guys in the market that we want to sell the cigars. It doesn't matter if they are well known in the tobacco, if they got all the information. Sometimes a simpler blend will do better than a very complex blend because not everybody has that developed palate that can appreciate every single part, every single third, every single leaf, every performance. So I did it in a way to tell the people, or to ask the people, what do I supposed to put out next? So I ship them two cigars. Pretty much, it can be the same blend to smoke it twice, or it can be two blends. I do it right now. It can be every quarter, every 2 months, every 3 months. It depends if I really need a feedback. I send them a survey that they need to fill up, and I'm gonna tell you, not everybody fill it up. Those guys that are not filling it up might not gonna get more cigars from me because if I'm giving that cigar to you at no cost,
Yeah,
at least what I need from you is your feedback.
precisely.
That's the only thing that I'm asking. So in December, I shipped two cigars, and we randomly pick the people that have filled up the survey twice last year because we shipped twice the smoking panel package last year,
Hmm.
and randomly pick the only guys that really fill up the survey. The guys, it's like you want a great deal in every single industry. You gotta be a great supporter. As
Yeah.
simple as that. You don't ask up front. You support, then you ask. And if the company really cares about the retailers, you don't even need to ask. They will offer it to you. You want this? Hey, brother, if you do a box, I will give you 6 cigars. I will give you whatever. The way retailers does too when you do an event. So that give me a lot great information, but I also give me like a team, a movement that it genuinely like they want you to keep growing.
Mm.
If why do I want to make cigars without knowing if they're gonna like it? I prefer to go more secure because they are the one that is willing to pay for the cigar every month or every week, depending on their purchase behavior.
No, that
So
makes perfect sense.
there's gonna be a time that I'm gonna close the smoking panel with the members that I'm gonna get because the more members that I get is at no cost. It's pricey to really ship it out, unless people feel fine to for me to start charging them for a very low price to get those cigars for free. So it's not about competing for with whoever has a subscription because it's not that. It's
Yeah.
about getting information from them to give them better cigars every year.
There you go. Well, perfect. Well, and they can learn about that over at your website.
Yeah, they just go to the smoking panel section and sign up over there. If they have an issue, because sometimes people tell me it's not letting me doing it, you just send an email to smokingpanel@blackbirdcigar.com with your ID. If the address that you have in your ID is different, just put the address and we're gonna put you up.
There you go. Well, perfect. Well, Jonas, thank you so much for taking time out of your day. It's always
Thank
great
you.
to talk to you.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you for your friendship. Thank you for always being able for me, man.
No, the same. I mean, you've been a great supporter of the podcast, and we really do appreciate it.
Can't clip my wings, baby.
There you go. Take it easy, man.
Take care, my man.
And we really want to thank Jonas again for taking so much time out of his day to talk with us. It's always nice to sit and catch up with Jonas. And, I like some of the philosophy he has about, business and doing this. It's like, it's one thing to be successful, but it's another thing to be successful at the expense of time with your family and everything else. And, you gotta keep perspective about what's important in life. And so I think he's doing really well with advancing the brand and also carving out some time for himself. So that's good. That's real good. Anyway, well, now that we've done that, why don't we go ahead and jump into this? It's time for the Villiger Cigars Entertainment Report, brought to you by
Villiger.
Villiger Cigars, one of the leading cigar and cigarello manufacturers in the world, founded in 1888 and still family-owned and operated. Head over to VilligerCigars.com and check the store locator to find a shop near you that carries them. We guarantee that Villiger Cigars will be a wonderful addition to your humidor and cigar rotation. Well, guys, in terms of stuff that I've been entertained by lately, I've been watching Ted Lasso. That's still kind of gimping my way through that. I haven't had. It's one of those things that, you know how when you get done with the day and you sit down and you're like, I want to watch something. Before you know it, searching through streaming and whatever else, you're just like, fuck it. And you just turn off the TV. That's kind of where I've been. So Ted Lasso has been kind of nice. I'll tell you the other mindless thing that I've been watching lately is just old Looney Tunes cartoons. I've been on HBO. You can watch a ton of old Looney Tunes cartoons on HBO Max, and they've got some good ones. Now, granted, they're selectively chosen. Like, you're not going to find a lot of Pepe Le Pew and Speedy Gonzales, especially, on there. And, that's a damn shame because I used to love the Speedy cartoons. But, but they've got some quality ones. I'm a big Roadrunner and Coyote fan. I love those cartoons because, I mean, they do so much with facial expression and body language and everything. I mean, like, they're very expertly drawn. The animation in those are very, very good, and it's always funny. And I like those cartoons. And then what else have I been entertained by lately? Well, that's really about it. It's been kind of a busy week. It always is gearing up for TPE. Gearing up for really anything. Because as I sit and record this, I've got this weekend, and then Monday, and then Tuesday I head out for Vegas. So like it's one of those things where TPE is rapidly approaching, and I've got to get a couple episodes recorded and scheduled out so that you guys don't miss content while I'm gone. And it's a busy week. So, unfortunately, no, I haven't had a chance to really sit and watch much of anything. But, that'll change. We'll get back from Vegas, and we'll be able to sit and chill out for a little while and, see what's what. So, anyway, let's now move on and do this. It's time to fly high with Blackbird Cigars. Blackbird Cigars offers you remarkable quality using the most delicate and finest tobacco to always ensure that you're receiving unsurpassed cigars. Blackbird Cigars strives to give you undoubted repeating flavor for every cigar you smoke and impressive quality so that you can always expect greatness. Check out their website for a full list of stores carrying Blackbird cigars and give them a test flight. Blackbird Cigars, can't clip our wings. I'll say this, I am enjoying this Crow box press. It's smoking really, really well, so we got that going. So, a few years ago, honeybees were placed on the endangered species list. Some blame aggressive pesticide practices, while others find the sudden absence of honeybees to be something of a mystery. Either way, this is terrible news for the rest of our natural environment, including bad news for humans and animals. We need these winged creatures way more than people realize, and in fact, without them, it's questionable as to whether or not humans would even be able to survive. Realizing this, one man took steps to preserve bees by dedicating the rest of his life to finding and rescuing them. In 2007, Gary Shemp took interest in the complex world of bees and beekeeping. Having owned a pest control company for 30 years, Gary shifted gears from killing bugs to saving bees. His love of the work of bees inspired Gary to sell his pest control company to pursue his passion project of saving as many bees as he can. Since then, Gary has saved and relocated millions of honeybees. Not only are the hives located across the country, but internationally as well. This is a fantastic example of the very real impact that each human can have on the planet. By saving those bees, Gary also contributed in a meaningful way to the survival of the human race. So guys, be like Gary Shemp and Blackbird Cigars, and don't let anybody clip your wings, even if they're bumblebee wings. Be like the bumblebee person. Anyway, I thought that was nice. The little bees. I have lots of flowering plants in my yard. The lady that owned this house before me, she very much had a green thumb. I do not. And so this spring will be interesting because I'm going to be curious as to what comes back and what doesn't. But there is something that lines the side of my garage. Whatever it is that she's got planted along the side of the garage over here. The bees love it. They are plentiful within those things. And I don't mess with them because, by God, they're just doing their little bee thing. They're going in, they're getting pollen, they're living their best bee life. And I'm okay with that. They don't mess with me. I don't mess with them. The only time they mess with me is when I go over to the garbage can that's over there and try to move the garbage can down the street. But even then, they just buzz near me. It's not like they're hurting me. They're not doing anything. They're just kind of being curious. Like, hey, man, what are you doing with the garbage can? And I'm like, hey, rolling down the street. So anyway, I like the bees. Be nice to the bees. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, it is Friday, which means it is Fun Fact Friday with Pinky.
Hey, it's your girl Pinky. Ready for a fun fact? In 2011, officials in Portland, Oregon drained 8 million gallons of water from a reservoir because someone had peed in it. This has been Pinky, and I'll be back next time with more fun facts.
Damn, that seems like a lot of work to get rid of a little pee. I guess you have to. Oh, my God. I mean, they couldn't just chlorinate it just a little bit more and kind of kill it? I mean, it's a reservoir, so maybe not. I don't know. I don't know what the rules and legality and whatever is. I mean, Lord knows what's in the water here. I mean, we put fluoride and all kinds of shit in our water. So, and there's that one time a year that the water company always is cleaning something, and so the water smells like chlorine for about a month, really, really harshly. So, it's one of those things that I know they're putting shit in the water here. So why couldn't they have just dropped a little bit of chlorine in that reservoir and just avoided the massive waste of water? But I mean, I guess theoretically they can, recapture it, reclean it, and whatever. But man, it does seem wasteful. Anyway, so yeah, on Fridays we'll have fun facts with Pinky. So, be waiting and listening for those. So, anyway, we are available on the socials, on Instagram at the Cigar Pulpit. We are on Facebook, where we have the Pulpit Parishioners group. We are on Twitter /X. You can watch us on Rumble, and if you don't know what Rumble is, it's basically like YouTube, only they don't care about cigar content, which means we can be free. So head on over to Rumble, sign up, subscribe to the Cigar Pulpit, don't miss an episode. And if you are still on YouTube, well, you can watch me there until they have, their jackbooted thugs eventually come over and take my channel down. So, it's bound to happen at some point. And then if you're on Spotify, we do have Spotify videos, so you can watch us on Spotify. I need your calls for the Ask the Pulpit hotline. That's area code 863-874-0000. That's area code 863-874-0000. And, I think that's about that. Now, coming up on the show on Tuesday, theoretically, if everything goes according to plan, and I won't lie, guys, we have there's some margin of error to this because, the plan is that we will have Hank, who won the trip to the Puro Sabor Nicaraguan Cigar Festival in Nicaragua. He won that at Pulpit Fest, and that is taking... Oh, God, I just almost caught myself on fire. He is down there right now as I speak, living it up in Nicaragua. I know he's visited a couple of different factories. You've seen some pictures on my Instagram and whatnot. Hank is having a wonderful time learning about all kinds of cigars down there. And tentatively, assuming he has no flight hiccups and gets back and gets rested accordingly, for what we kind of planned, I'm supposed to record with him before I leave for Vegas, to where then on Tuesday you will get a nice recap of his trip to Nicaragua to tell us all about the Puro Sabor Cigar Festival. And that'll be on Tuesday. And then on Friday, Noah will be joining me, and he and I will be previewing TPE, even though technically, at the time that episode drops, we will already have completed probably all but the last day of TPE by the time you guys hear that. So we're in the future, but anyway, or the past. I don't know what that would be. But anyway, the bottom line is Friday, Noah and I will bring you a preview of TPE, and then the following Tuesday, which would be February the... Oh, God, I'm in the future now. What would that be? February the 4th, I believe. It would be February the 4th. That episode is the TPE interview episode, where I bring you all of the interviews and chatter from the show floor, and we kind of recap that. And hopefully, if the USPS does not completely fail me, my plan is that will be the episode that I smoke the Parishioners 2024 Cigar of the Year, the Perdomo 30th Anniversary Sungrown, because I figure I should have it by then. And quite frankly, it's always kind of a bitch trying to figure out what cigar I'm going to smoke on that episode, because I've got interviews from so many different manufacturers that it's kind of hard to pick out, like, which one do I highlight. But in this case, you guys picked out the one I should highlight, so it kind of works out. So, assuming the mailman brings me that, if you guys want to smoke along with me, the February 4th episode will have the Perdomo 30th Anniversary Sungrown. Otherwise, I am enjoying this Blackbird Crow box pressed. It's smoking well. It's got that little bit of earthiness, a little bit of leatheriness to it. But it's a quality, it's a good cigar. It's nice. It's a nice selection from Blackbird, and I find it. I find the decision to go with a box press version fascinating. But they obviously must have they have reasons for doing it, and I think why not? Why not give us something different? And, it's got that extra fermentation that Jonas was talking about. So it is a very smooth, easy smoke. So that's kind of nice. But anyway, guys, I've rambled on enough. This has been another sermon from the Cigar Pulpit. I'm Nick. Stay safe and stay smoky. Take it easy, everyone.